I have shared on my channel before how God works with me and shows himself behind something he wants me to do through synchronistic timing. Now, I've shared a lot of that having to do with the spiritual avalanche message and from Pastor Steve Hill and the album that the Lord led me to do. But today, he did it on a phenomenon that I had posted on my channel 4 years and 9 months ago that I had gotten on this very little recorder here. This little digital recorder, Olympus. It doesn't work anymore, but I reported in a video that I titled Angel Voice Caught on Digital Audio Recorder that November 9th in the year 2014 I had caught something mind-blowing on this video. Well, it's inaccurate for me to say I caught something. It actually recorded itself when this was turned off, and it ended up being a very distinctive male voice, of an ethereal male voice, a supernatural sounding male voice, saying the word holy. And I've shared elsewhere how that voice sounded also like my angel, my male angel, whom I had gotten on voice recorder about a year before. And the timing of it was what made it doubly amazing, besides the fact that it was a phenomenon. And I shared those details in that video. So anyways, that video was far from my mind tonight as I was checking on my channel, but the Lord wanted to put it forefront, because at that time that it seemed I just randomly signed in to see how things were on my channel, I saw somebody was looking at that video, and the way the Lord leads me, it inspired me to look at this video because I had posted it many years ago. And every once in a while, if a video that I posted years ago, I get interested to see what I had to say. And I felt the same thing to go look. And when I looked and I saw it, I realized from the data I was showing on my hard drive about the recording I caught, that it actually happened, what would be the 7-year anniversary tomorrow. I said, tomorrow, 7-year anniversary. The Lord's having me look at it now. And then things have happened since then. I realized I hadn't posted that were important. I knew that the Lord was making known to me He wanted me to update this. Because what had happened since I posted this testimony 4 years ago, almost 5 years ago, on my channel about the phenomenon that I had caught on the recorder, is that actually it was the beginning of this year the Lord had moved me to take the skills I had developed in that time using music software to take that voice that was I had found on this recorder. It had recorded itself, and if you want to know the details, you can watch the full details that I explained in this video that I linked to over here. And to use my recording skills I had gotten in that time to master audio and make the voice better heard, take out the artifacts and make the volume clear, and use that to combine it with the song that had seemed to inspire this angel sounding male to say the word holy. And it's the timing of it. The timing when the voice happened, the timing when the voice appeared, was just before I was going to record a brainstorming session to continue on a song that I had been working on for some time about the holiness of the Lord. It was right before I was to do it. Unknown to me, the voice had recorded itself on my turned off recorder. So at this point, at the beginning of the year, the Lord had moved me, since I had come to a place where I had developed the skills just from working enough with my own music that I produce. It's on my channel. Not all of it, but I just recently released an album, Spiritual Avalanche, and some singles this year. And to combine it with that song that seemed had inspired that angel to leave this word holy into a song. And I did so, and I called it Virtual Duet with a Real Angel. When the Lord had moved me to look at that video someone was looking at earlier today, it was to remind me I hadn't updated that video with a link to that song. But the problem is, the video that I had really wasn't my video. It was a video that my publishing company puts on YouTube for all their music artists, which is just an album cover and the song, which I don't control that channel page, so no comments are allowed. And so I said, I should just make an update video like I'm doing right now and tell you what I've done with it, and then just play that song after this so that you can enjoy hearing it. Now, because I'm excited about the anniversary date, and God willing, I want to actually have it posted by tomorrow. I'm going to forego making the elaborate videos that I usually make, where I take a lot of time to make visuals and pictures and videos, or even perform. I'm not going to perform this time. I'm just going to play the song. And the reason I did this song is so I could clean it up and interweave it into the song that at appropriate times. So in essence, I was creating a true duet with that angel voice. And after the fact, it really seemed as if that was the whole purpose of it. It seemed as if it was a purpose to have a heavenly backup in a song, old-fashioned kind of song, just proclaiming the holiness and righteousness of God. And to keep it appropriate, I wanted to use the very vocals I had used them, because that was the vocals that the angels had responded to. And it's not that they're the greatest vocals, but you see, God's judgment of things are different. He looks at things differently. It could have just been the purity and the innocence of which I was singing it. Nothing commercial about it. So I just maintained it to maintain that archival performance. And with that, I hope that you are blessed by this. It's not the quality, it's the authenticity about the song. Holy is the Lord, 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 holy is the Lord. Purity, undefiled, godliness, perfected vessel of honor, holy temple of living stones, a dwelling place of God. Holy is the Lord, authentic recording that was on here. The authentic. That's not doctored. That voice, I cleaned the artifacts off of it. That voice saying holy. Let me see what I have here on the I'm showing the album cover to get the the proper term. EVP. It's what they call electric voice phenomenon. You can't, as I shared in that video where I shared about capturing the phenomenon, it actually recorded itself as I shared that. This is what the ministry the Lord has given me is a ministry of evidence. And it's really to lift and build up the faith of believers. And as I've said, you can't record fiction, and fiction doesn't record itself. This is a genuine recording that you're hearing. As I said, the recorder itself was turned off, and it's mind-blowing. I just love it. There's so many things about this that are off the chart of normal, and supernatural occurrences is, as I shared before, is just how it recorded. It recorded, though it was just one word, holy. It recorded in such a way that if played sequentially, continually, it just sounded like an ongoing holy, 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 as you hear here. And now, after I finished, after years, the 7th year anniversary tomorrow of when this voice first appeared, and the complete work that I had made here, and while I was actually putting together the single, which is on Spotify and Apple and Amazon, but which I'm just putting here for you to hear it in full, is how purposefully intentful it was, so that it could be looped. It was made to be looped. That's a crazy thing. If you know what looping is in audio, it's a recording that you can play over and over again, and it's seamless. Well, this thing, even though it's fascinating because it had artifacts in it that appeared as if a microphone artifact afterward, like a pop. But like I said, the recorder was turned off, and it was in my bathroom. And I'm in a house alone, and I had several dogs and a fence, and everything's locked up, and I was there, and it was after midnight when this came, and only lasted long enough for the word holy, so that it was created to be loopable, a divine plan that would eventually be manifested in my single, so that you can hear at the appropriate time this phenomenon of an angel saying holy, as if it is in the courtroom of God, and the angel is proclaiming holy, 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 holy. Now, you know what, I may just be talking to myself, and this is the crazy thing about it, when you got something which is really fantastic, huge. I mean, people go nuts when they see a Virgin Mary on a sandwich, a little vague thing, but this isn't a Virgin Mary on a sandwich. It's the actual recording of an electronic phenomenon of an angelic voice, which, as I said, it was my angel who had spoken a year before. I shared on my channel as well. So that's how I identified it as my angel. So I just hope that this really shoots your faith level up, because the one thing I have been able to share are things that go against. There's a lot of enemy attack, a lot of attack saying that, you know, to believe in God is foolish, that Jesus and God and the plan of salvation is an invention and a fantasy. But as I have said and will keep on saying, you cannot record fantasy. Fantasy doesn't record itself. And so, this is evidence of the supernatural heritage that we have. And it's not just saying anything. It's a voice that came at a time of the song I was creating about the holiness and the righteousness of the Lord Jesus.